So do I look at the questions while I'm talking? Do we answer all the questions?
No, or she can ask you. You can, if you wanted to have a conversation with her. As a matter of fact, I mean, tell about. I don't know how to start.
Yeah, you should say it.
Okay, so we're rolling. So anytime that
We're rolling?
we're rolling.
Okay, my name is Chuck Drake, and I've lived in Windsor since 1949. My mother was raised in Windsor, down in the Deerfield section of Windsor, and got involved with the Grace Church here in Windsor and went to school at John Fitch High School. She met my dad during the Second World War. He was stationed at Bradley, what is called Bradley Field now, and after the war, he moved to Windsor and started the family, and I was the first of 3 sons, and we were raised on Ludlow Road. So, where did I go to school? I actually spent 1 year in kindergarten at Stony Hill School with Miss Memory. And then they opened up Clover Street School, and I went to Clover Street through the 6th grade. And then they split all those students up, and at that time, Leland P. Wilson Junior High School would open, and half of the students went to L.P. Wilson, and the other half came here to Windsor High School. At that time, had 7th and 8th grade, as well as the 9th through 12th grade. So I went to school here all through junior and senior high school. What did we do? Let's see. I was involved in a few things, few sports, but I mostly worked. I worked at Finest Supermarkets in Wilson, and they closed down, and then we went to Finest Supermarkets in Windsor Center, which is where Geisler's is now. And the summers, well, the summers were pretty much, when I was younger, coming right here to the Veterans Pool, because at that time our folks were pretty much working in the factories, and their time off was in August, and that's when everybody would leave and go out to further destinations. And a destination for us was where my dad came from, and that was Ohio. Ohio in the summertime in August. Don't want to go there. But we did, nevertheless. But the rest of our summers were involved coming here to the pool and spending our afternoons at Veterans Pool, swimming and having fun. And there's a lot of stories that went on with that. But we also worked tobacco. So when you got old enough, at 14, you could start working tobacco. And we had an in because one of the girls in our class, her family owned a tobacco farm. That was the Huntington Farm. And they had areas up on Day Hill Road. So I remember catching the truck right here at the end of Sage Park Road at the intersection of Sage Park and Park Avenue. And we would catch the truck, and they would take us up to River Street to get some of the migrant workers who were in the camp at River Street, and then take us up to Day Hill Road to start working in the fields. But because we had an in with the daughter of the owner, the boys didn't have to work in the fields for very long, because once they started picking, we went into the sheds where all the girls were. So we spent several summers working tobacco. 14, 15 years old, we were able to work tobacco in Windsor. So that's where we got our start. And then, let's see, we went to working at First National Stores and then went off to college. And we left and came back. I had the opportunity to go to school out of state, and I took that up, and came back to live here back in 1976. My family had always been here, but with college and such, I was away for a while. So let's see. Impressions of Windsor. What can I say? It was the greatest place to be, especially as a kid. We had dances down at what is the VFW every Friday night. Listen to the Wild Weeds. Now, if you know Al Anderson was in that with the Leapak brothers, who lived on Plymouth Street, big family down there. And every Friday or Saturday, I think it was Friday, we would go down to the VFW for dances. The place was packed. That was such a great band, and of course they went on to be famous. And Al Anderson is still a famous songwriter, lives in Nashville, and every time he comes back, they always have to play some of those songs from the early 60s that we remember very well. Oh, let's see. So I left to do different things, and I always came back. And when I came back in 1977, I lived with my mom on Ludlow Road and took a job that allowed me to travel quite a bit. And from there, 1986, I got married to a young lady from South Windsor. And we came back here and started our lives together back in Windsor, and we bought a home on Marshall Street, which is an old home that's been there since 1932. And behind us is a farm that no longer has dairy cows, but still has some beef cattle, and we take in the hay there every year, twice a year. We've been doing that for 36 plus years, and we'll probably keep going until we're old and crotchety. Oh, let's see. Community involvement. Well, one of the things that I got started doing is because of my education, I always wanted to be involved with the parks. And an opportunity availed is I'm a volunteer at Northwest Park, which is in the north part of town, which is all old tobacco land. And I was able to volunteer up there. That would have been 1985, 86. And I've been there ever since, and become involved with the Friends of Northwest Park, which pretty much takes up all my spare time as far as volunteering, and enjoy doing the maple sugar program at Northwest Park, as well as a music series that helps fund some of the activities that are supported by the Friends of Northwest Park. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have any children, but we feel that our involvement with Northwest Park and some of the other youth activities here in Windsor kind of make up for that. So we like to mentor young folks in doing some of the things that we learned to do when we were younger here in Windsor. How's it changed since I've lived here? Oh boy, how's Windsor changed? Well, the high school has gotten bigger. The pool is now inside. There's a lot more folks that are moved in. A lot of old families that were living in the areas that I knew when my grandparents were in Deerfield. Those were a lot of immigrant families, Germans and Italian folks. And those have all moved on, and now there are great Hispanic families and African American families who are living in the homes that I remember in my youth, where the old German folks would have lived, and we would have delivered eggs to them from my grandmother's farm. I think it's a great community because of the fact that we are so diverse, and it's great being able to talk to folks and tell them stories, especially about tobacco and how we got to do tobacco here in Windsor. It's all gone now, and that's one of the sad things is tobacco. It's all gone. Well, there you have it. I think that's what I got. There's probably much more there, but my brain isn't that fast.
That's great.
Thank you. That was great.
Okay?
All right.